You're listening to the Family Discipleship Podcast.
Welcome to the Family Discipleship Podcast. We are here to equip and encourage Christian parents to lead their families, and we are now posting every other Monday all year long. This is Adam Griffin, and I'm here in between our every other Monday episodes with something that I hope becomes a regular part of the Family Discipleship Podcast. And that is, while we are posting regular full-length episodes every other Monday, every once in a while, and hopefully on a fairly regular basis, I want to insert a 10 to 15 minute episode that is just about one question. We've done Q&A episodes in the past. We do Q&A when we go and do events at churches and conferences and retreats, and they're great and it's super helpful. I thought that if we could do mini episodes about one question, it might both make it easier to find the answer to a question you have and would serve as kind of a carryover in between some of the things we're talking about. So today I want to talk through one question. And that one question is, how does your family handle technology? It's one of the number one questions we get. And in the weeks ahead, I hope to also cover some of the other biggest questions we get. We'll finally cover, how do you feel about spanking? I'd love to cover the question of how do you balance work and life and home? Those are some of the number one questions we get. But if you have a question that you'd like us to address, or you have a host that you'd like to address it, Cassie, Chelsea, or myself, feel free to direct message us on Instagram or Facebook, or post a comment on the post about this episode with your question, and hopefully we'll get to your question in a one question episode sometime soon. So in short, today we're talking about, how does your family, that's our family, the Griffins, handle technology? And I'll give you a short answer, but before we do that, let me say, I know that we could do a whole episode on this. I would actually love if anybody out there knew an expert on software that helps families guard their homes. And I don't just mean somebody that works for Covenant Eyes or somebody that works for Canopy or somebody that works for Securely. I want somebody that knows the difference between these things, what's out there, what parents can choose between, and why. That would be so helpful. I'd love to interview that person for a whole episode at some point. That would be a blessing. But what I'm going to talk about today is not prescriptive. I'm not sharing, hey, here's what I'm telling families they should do. I'm just going to share in brief a little bit of what we do and how we use technology here in the Griffin household. First of all, you'll need to know that our kids do not have phones. We have a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and they do not have phones, but our oldest son does have an Apple Watch, and his Apple Watch is able to text and call. His contact list is controlled by me. He cannot text or call or receive texts and calls from anybody that I have not put in his Apple Watch. And his Apple ID is under my Apple ID. So I can see everything he does. He doesn't have broad permissions. And we have made that decision very intentionally. We actually see a lot of families who are making different decisions, and you are welcome to make different decisions. But I will tell you, one of the most dangerous things that is happening in this generation is unbridled access to the internet, especially via smartphones. And I know that is like one friend away or one mischievous heart that wants to find it away. And there are ways to use any form of technology to pursue something sinful. So again, the number one things we do around technology is disciple our kids' hearts in the hopes that they will know what is good, love what is good, and want what is good, and then have the courage to pursue what is good. No matter what technology you give your kids, if those things aren't true, they can find a way to twist it into sin. So we do not have phones in this household. And while one day we might, I'll get to that here in a second. Right now, one of the things we've done is just an Apple Watch for one of our kids. We do have a landline in our house so that when we are away, our kids can call us, or when we're away, we can call them. Chelsea has been working nights, so I could call the kids during the day while she's sleeping, talk to them. They are welcome to call their friends within reason, but we do have a landline, and we think that has been, we hear about a lot of families kind of committing to just having landlines, just having flip phones. In order for a kid to have a phone, they do not have to have an iPhone. They can text and call from a flip phone. And so some of our friends out there have done that. I support that idea as well. In conjunction with that, the Griffin family does not do social media. We do not allow social media for our kids. I personally don't scroll on social media. While I have a part in what FDP does on social media, and I have my own social media that I'll post maybe new things that we have published or coming out. We do not scroll endlessly on social media. We do not participate in social media. And part of that is just to protect our eyes and to protect our family and reputation. We don't want anything that might be an impairment to our holiness. And so we protect from that. Chelsea's talked about this on episodes before. There's no research out there that talks about the benefit of social media for your family. And there's a lot about the detriment. We're also careful about what we watch in our home. We don't watch movies without kind of looking up the parent guide or finding articles about it or checking ChatGPT or something else that'll tell us kind of what are the curse words in this? What are the seedy scenes in this? We do not, even commercials, we will guard our eyes, both our kids and our own. We will not watch certain things. We'll change the channel. I just don't want to put any unholy thing before our eyes. That's what the Bible's called us to. So we're very careful about that. I understand that may be more conservative than a lot of families, but that has been a guide for us and has blessed us immensely to just be very careful about what we watch. For our kids, they do have computers for school. On our oldest son's computer, he is homeschooled. And so on his computer, we have our own software called Canopy that we use, and that prevents him from going to certain sites, and it blocks ads, and it also gives us reports about anything that could be fishy. For our kids who go to our private school, go to our school at our church, there we use a software called Securely. That is an opt-in software is the way we're using it right now, which means you cannot go to anything that the teachers have not given permission to go to. In other words, not an opt-out where we just list things you can't go to. It's an opt-in program that blocks everything except for what you're allowed to, which I appreciate. On my phone, we use Covenant Eyes, and that gives my wife a report about anything I might have seen. It also tells us if there's any websites that I might go to that could be fishy or might seem fishy or are not safe. Then it gives her a report, and we don't go to the website anymore. Block that website. You can do that on your own router. If you have people that are going to a website you don't want them to go to anymore, you can block that on your Wi-Fi router in your house. Unfortunately for our Wi-Fi router, while we've looked into getting the parental controls, there are some routers that will let you say, that will give you a report on what people are using internet in your house to do. That is a subscription fee for our router. It's like $10 a month in order just to monitor. And right now we have not decided that was worth the cost, but that's out there. There's also other softwares like Bark that will report if somebody is texting or messaging, especially things around violence. That's a software worth looking into for your family. We also don't have a lot of subscriptions in our house, and the ones that we do for watching TV, we use parental logins in order to get to anything that might have adult level content. And so we use different, what do you call them? Like login codes in order for parents to be able to see things, parental controls and parental profiles. And so we are very careful about what our kids can even have access to in the first place. One of the pieces of technology that we gave to our kids, probably younger than a lot of families do, is we did give our kids Kindles so they could read at night, even while their brothers were sleeping or after the lights are off. And we've loved that. They don't have, we turn off access to the internet because anything that has access to the internet, we don't want in our kids' hands. So we turn off access to the internet on those Kindles. And so I will, if they want a new book, I will download it onto their Kindle and then disconnect it again from the internet. But we've even found, and another family who I love pointed this out to us, that a lot of Kindles come with a dictionary on it. And so there have been kids that I know, and in our own house, sometimes kids will look up a word that they come across in a book, and it can lead them kind of down a trail, even in a dictionary, to something that is not great. But there is a way, even on a Kindle, to see what words have been looked up on this Kindle. And so that's super helpful for monitoring as well. But we do allow Kindles in our house. For the apps on our TV, we've actually been really blessed by the Dude Perfect app. The guys at Dude Perfect, who are Christians here in the Dallas area, they put together an app that has their videos, Ryan Trahan's videos, How Ridiculous videos. And for sons, that's been really great to be able to give them access to an app where they can watch things without giving them access to YouTube. YouTube is a little like access to the internet in general. You can have ads that you don't want your kids to see. It can definitely lead them and entice them to videos you don't want them to see. So we do not give them access to YouTube. We actually deleted the YouTube app off of our TV in order to really just narrow that down in general. Let's see, what else do we do? What am I not mentioning? I have a little list here in front of me. That's the majority of what we do. We're very careful around technology. We understand that it is a window into other people's lives, and there's people out there that are trying to entice our kids in general. And so we want to protect our kids from that. Some families will say, maybe as a counter argument, yeah, but one day is coming where they're not going to be in your house anymore. And I just want them to experience these things before they move out. And to that, I say, I understand your logic. But my hope is that my kids, even after they move out, are walking in holiness. And even after they move out, have accountability. So if you want to give your kid access to an iPhone, even in high school, why aren't we also giving our kids access to an accountability partner also in high school? If you want to give your kids access to a computer without any software on it to guard it or guide it, then why aren't you also giving them access to accountability that says, what have you been looking at? What are you struggling with? Maybe somebody their own age, maybe it's a youth leader, somebody that gets a report on what they're doing, and build into them, not just this idea that, hey, can you prove to me you're responsible with something that is very dangerous, but can you put in your life the same things that maybe mom and dad would put in their life as people that are walking in holiness, some level of accountability? For when I'm not there, that's what I want for them. And again, that's why it connects back to whatever decision you make with technology. The best thing you can do as a parent is try to develop a genuine faith in your kids that leads them to a heart, mind, and soul, everything they've got for God, where they know what is good, where they love what is good, and where they have the courage and the strength to do what is good. Because no matter what guards or guides you put on your devices or in your house, they are one friend without those guards away from pursuing something they shouldn't, or one little workaround from pursuing something they shouldn't, or somebody finding them. So technology is complicated and is changing all the time. I certainly hope that Christian software developers out there are trying to keep up with what's coming at us, because that is always so helpful when somebody comes out with something like Covenant Eyes or Canopy or Bark or Securely, these things that are trying to protect our kids. I mean, at the end of the day, even in the Bible app, we've heard of kids finding chats in chat rooms that they shouldn't be in. You just cannot blindly trust technology. While it is amoral, we are not. Our hearts desire sin, and we'll find a way to get to it. So let's make some godly decisions about technology, try to guard our families. And the easiest way to do that is to do that together. So I'd encourage you as well, talk to your community about this. If you're in a small group, a home group, a community group in your church, and maybe they have kids the same age as you do, or maybe they're a little bit older, talk about this. How do you guys want to make technology decisions, and how can we hold to that together? So in brief, that's my one question answer. How does our family use technology? There's more to it than I just got into right now, but hopefully that short answer gives you some idea. Maybe even will spark some questions for you, or put you on a search for how you can protect your home while giving them access to things you want. Maybe having a movie night without worrying about what you're about to put before your eyes, or letting your kids read without worrying about where that might take them, or doing their schoolwork, or hanging out with friends without worrying about what rabbit trail of evil they might walk down. Let's make decisions that guard our hearts, guard our families, and let's not just make those decisions for our kids. Let's make those decisions for us. That's why I have software on my phone, on my computer, and why I try to make the same content decisions for my own eyes that I would for my kids. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, friends. We'll be back next week with a full episode, and then we'll hopefully have another one of these one question episodes really soon.